What's up, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Game, your source for everything in the world of video games. Now, of course, you can always be a part of our show. All you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up in Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show. Well, this one, though, is for the holidays. That's right, get your wish list ready, as we got a whole list of games that are gonna make your list. What's coming up? Here it is. It's the rundown.
First on this list, you better gather up your friends and family because we're jumping into Mario Party Superstars.
So whether you're spending time with friends or family, or you just want a bit of me time over the Christmas holidays, then here is my top pick of games you should check out for the PlayStation if you haven't already.
Well, guys, it's that time of year. It's the Game Awards time of year, and we have the Game of the Year nominees. Let's break them down.
Sticking with the theming of games, well, Xbox Game Pass happens to be the best service around.
So if I'm going to recommend my first title from Square Enix, it has to be...
Well, the holidays are nearly upon us, and if you're a PC gamer as well as a console gamer, we've got a few things you might want to look into this holiday season coming out of SteelSeries. Well, like I said, are you ready? It's time to get that wish list going. Corey's going to get things started with Nintendo. Corey, what do you have for us?
The holiday season is finally here, and I'm checking out everything to do with Nintendo, and I've compiled a list of games that should be on everyone's wish list. Let's check them out. First on this list, you better gather up your friends and family because we're jumping into Mario Party Superstars. And this one features 5 classic boards from the Nintendo 64 era and a collection of over 100 mini-games from across the entire Mario Party series. You can play with your family and friends as you race to get the most stars, or maybe just sabotage your opponents. But you know what the best part is you can take all the game modes can be played online. So it doesn't matter if you're local or online, you can be playing Mario Party wherever you're at. Attention Pokemon fans, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl are finally here. In these games, you'll go on an adventure through the Sinnoh region, a land of many myths passed down through the ages. Your goal in these ones is to become the champion of the Pokemon League. And whether you've played Pokemon games before or you're a first timer to the series, you're going to have a ton of fun because adventure awaits in these ones. This one's for the whole family. Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain. In this easy to learn, tough to master game, you will get the chance to go brain to brain with others in a series of activities that test your wits and reflexes. You can also set your own difficulty level, making it easy for players of all ages and skill levels to play together. This fun and clever game is perfect for family gatherings or a little fun competition among friends. You gotta check it out. Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain. This one might not be a new game, but it's definitely a good one. Maybe the best one the Nintendo Switch has ever seen. That's right, Zelda Breath of the Wild has got to be on everyone's list. If you've just gotten the Nintendo Switch for the first time, or you're going to be getting the Nintendo Switch, you have to play this game. It is an instant classic for the console, and right now, for the first time, I think ever, this game is actually on sale, so it's the best time to scoop up one of the best ones Nintendo's ever seen in Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's finally here. After 19 years, a 2D Metroid game is what we've all been asking for, and it's here with Metroid Dread. This has got to be one of the biggest anticipated games of the Nintendo release in 2021 so far, and this one has it all. Samus's story continues after the events of Metroid Fusion, where she descends upon planet ZDR, which has been overrun by vicious alien life forms and chilling mechanical menaces. Our heroine is more agile and capable than ever, because she can overcome the inhuman threat stalking the depths of ZDR. You're just gonna have to find out for yourself in this one. Metroid Dread has got to be the biggest one this holiday season on Nintendo. And for that person on your list looking to take their Nintendo gaming to the next level, the Nintendo Switch OLED model is finally available. This is sporting a bright new 7-inch OLED screen that's giving us a beautiful image, sharpness, that quality that we're not getting with the old Switch. Also a nice wide kickstand that is nice and adjustable. Also the dock comes with a LAN port, which is something we didn't previously have on the older generation models. Mind you, this is a little bit more expensive than the old Switch, but for anybody that's looking to take that, that handheld experience to the next level, the Nintendo Switch OLED is definitely for them. So that'll do it for my list of Nintendo Wish List 2021 must-haves. Let me tell you, there's some great games on this list. I'm looking forward to jumping into some of these ones with friends and family. And for myself and the ITG family here, I hope everyone out there has a safe and happy holidays.
With Christmas just around the corner, there's some really cool games that are on sale right now for the PlayStation. So whether you're spending time with friends or family, or you just want a bit of me time over the Christmas holidays, then here is my top pick of games you should check out for the PlayStation if you haven't already. So getting straight into it, my first choice is Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales by Insomniac Games. So Miles Morales continues from where Spider-Man and the City That Never Sleeps left off, where Miles was bitten by a genetically enhanced spider and gained powers similar to his mentor Peter Parker. A year after the first game's conclusion, Morales has been trained by Parker, moved from Brooklyn to Harlem, and has fully integrated himself into the role of Spider-Man. Also, it features both new and returning supporting characters, including the supervillain Rhino, the imprisoned crime lord Kingpin, and anti-Spider-Man podcaster J. Jonah Jameson, Parker's former mentor and employee, Dr. Otto Octavius, and Norman Osborn. Insomniac Games done an amazing job in this Miles Morales Spider-Man game, with the enhanced performance on the PS5 with up to 60 frames per second and ray tracing, made this one of the most outstanding games that got released at the time. Now moving on to my next choice, I've picked Returnal by House Marquee. Returnal is a third-person shooter, featuring a roguelike element and covering the psychological horror genre. Set in a futuristic science fiction setting, the player controls Selena, voiced by Jane Perry, a space pilot equipped with a suit and armed with high-tech weapons, who is stranded on an alien planet, Atropos, and stuck in a time loop. After every death, Selena is resurrected following a pattern of traversing across foreign environments and combating extraterrestrial entities with growing visions in an ever-changing world. House Marquee made such a beautiful game of Returnal, and it was an exclusive for the PlayStation 5, and they made sure they made full use of this powerful console with a 4K resolution, 60 frames per second, and they made full use of the DualSense controller with a haptic feedback. Moving on to my next choice is another Insomniac game, and I'm picking Ratchet & Clank Rifts Apart. In a follow-up to their previous heroics, Ratchet & Clank are celebrated as galactic heroes, and during the parade in their honour, Clank reveals that he has repaired the Dimensionator, a device capable of opening rifts in other dimensions, so that Ratchet can search for the Lombax race and missing family. However, Dr. Nefarious suddenly attacks the parade and attempts to steal the Dimensionator, but during the struggle, Ratchet unthinkingly shoots the Dimensionator, which causes a dimensional rift to begin opening randomly. Ratchet, Clank and Dr. Nefarious end up being transported to an alternative universe. Dimensionator then explodes, which damages the fabric of space and time and separates the three. Clank awakens to find himself alone and now missing the right arm from the blast. Then Clank is then discovered and picked up by a female Lombax named Rivet. Well, it looks like Insomniac Games can't do no wrong, as they got 2 entries in my top games to play over the Christmas holidays. So my final choice, I'm picking something that's a little bit different, and I'm picking Hazelight Studios' It Takes Two in this co-op adventure game. It Takes Two is specifically designed for a split-screen cooperative multiplayer, as you take on the roles of Cody and May, a married couple that are planning to get divorced after Cody argues with May about her working all the time, and May arguing back that Cody never shows even a little appreciation for her job, after telling their daughter Rose that they are divorcing. Rose takes her handmade dolls, which looks like her parents, into the family shed and tries to repair their relationship by play acting. The parents find themselves trapped inside the doll's body in consequence of a tear landing on the dolls. Dr. Hakim, who is a relationship therapy book, tells May and Cody that they have been given the job of trying to fix their relationship as they try to reach Rose. So this is my top pick of games you should check out for the Christmas holidays for the PlayStation. And the reason why I chose this variety of games is that all of them have an amazing story, they look, sound and play absolutely phenomenal on the PlayStation, and I'm sure it'll give you hours of fun like it has me.
Well, guys, it's that time of year. It's the Game Awards time of year, and we have the Game of the Year nominees. Let's break them down. We're going to do two things. One, we're going to pick the game that we would like to win, and two, we're going to pick the game we actually think will win. All right, here are the nominees. You ready? Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. I'm gonna kick this one over to Corey. You can kick us off here, buddy. What is your choice? Where are you starting with?
You know what? We just had a little quick conversation about this before we started recording, and this is actually truly tough because this has been a year of a lot of very interesting dynamic style games that we haven't seen in a while. I mean, when you look at Deathloop, we're looking at, imaging and, just the way that game looked and played, it was amazing. It was something that we haven't seen in a long time. And then, Drew, you checked out Ratchet and Clank. I mean, I'm a huge fan of that series. That game looked amazing, and being able to experience that on the PS5 and next gen with that controller, I mean, come on, like it's for me, honestly, Ratchet and Clank is the game I want to win, but I gotta think, you know what, I think Deathloop's probably gonna be the one that takes it. It's tough because honestly, I could see even Psychonauts being in this conversation because this game has a huge following, and it's just that very interesting style that kind of sets it apart, but I honestly do think it's gonna be Deathloop that takes this one.
Well, I guess I'll go next. This is tough. These are incredible games. I mean, It Takes Two, a seamless masterpiece, in my opinion. That is co-op only. Like, that is something that you don't see in games very often, let alone to be a Game of the Year nominee. So they did a fantastic job. I reviewed Resident Evil Village. I think I gave that a 10 or a 9.52. I can't even remember at this point. We reviewed too many games. But that was an incredible experience yet again. Corey, like you had mentioned, Deathloop and Ratchet and Clank, both of these experiences brought something very unique and different to gaming that either we have never seen or we haven't seen brought back in a long time. So I guess if I had to pick one, guys, I haven't even said this one yet, but I'm going to throw a curveball with Metroid Dread.
Really?
And the reason I'm throwing this is because this is on the Switch, which arguably is not that great of tech compared to a PS5 or a Series X or a high-end PC. And from everyone's reviews, I mean, they are loving this game. Scott, you gave it a 9 out of 10. And for Metroid fans, I mean, we've been long overdue for this great Metroid experience. And I know that we're going to get another Metroid Prime around the corner, so I don't know. I guess I want that to win, but I think ultimately either Deathloop or Ratchet and Clank. Not picking.
This guy with the cop-out.
So Scott, it's your choice.
No, I understand, because this is really a painful decision. How do you choose a favorite? Which one? I can look at it objectively, and the sales behind Resident Evil Village were just phenomenal. It seemed like everybody who was online started playing that game and had absolutely glowing reviews themselves. So I know that's definitely a contender, especially in the way that sales go. But Metroid Dread is the only one that could compete, I think, on that scale. with sales, and it just took off, of course, because of the Switch, and it was something that's about 19 years, since the last game, so everybody jumped on that really hard. That's definitely a super loved series, so that's the one that I think is gonna win, and I actually could not be happier. I really want Metroid Dread to do it.
So you think,
Nice.
so that is your pick, and you think that's
right.
what's gonna win?
Ooh.
Oh, he's gonna wrap. He's gonna put all of his eggs in one basket. All right, we'll see how that goes. For me, yeah, I was able to dabble in almost all of these games. There's no way I am playing Resident Evil, so don't even think I'm going there with that one. But either way, Psychonauts 2 was a pleasant surprise. It was great. Steve and I checked it out. It was fantastic. But really, It Takes Two took co-op to a whole other level. And I think there's a lot of potential there for It Takes Two to win this award. However, I don't think it will. I think it's just, I don't know. There's something that says not quite there, right? Where Deathloop, I think, is what is going to win this year. I think Metroid is obviously up there as well. Like we said, these games are all fantastic, so it's hard to pick one. Out of all of them, though, I think this is Arcane's kind of outbreaking moment where they kind of stepped up above what everybody kind of expected when they played Dishonored, right? Everybody felt they kind of almost like pigeonholed themselves into a genre with the stealth genre, which is one of my favorite genres of all time. And then to bring in Deathloop is such a unique twist on things with this rewind mechanic. Going taking out all these targets in one run is very, very cool. I think that is the game that's going to win it this year. My personal pick, it goes to Ratchet and Clank. There's no doubt about it. And so it was such a fantastic experience, and the tech too to go with the PS5 and that DualSense controller really elevated that whole experience for Ratchet and Clank. So Deathloop I think will win it. Ratchet and Clank is my personal pick. Let us know, what would you pick? Hit us up InsideTheGame.ca.
The boundaries between the universes are coming undone. Our time has finally come.
Sony's back at it again. A couple months back, I was talking about some companies that were making some custom faceplates for the PS5. And these things look really cool. You could make your blackout PS5. You could have a totally different color, red, blue. They were doing a bunch of different designs as well. It was a really cool idea. Well, Sony shut them down. They sent them a cease and desist. And the company did pull all their pre-sales and pre-orders for these custom faceplates. And the Canadian company, D-Brand, which is very popular with a lot of skins for controllers, other consoles, cell phones, all kinds of things, had some custom faceplates done up and designed, and Sony also sent them a cease and desist later. Well, guess what? Sony's actually finally filed the patent and gotten it through for the PS5 faceplates as of November 16th. So one can only assume that Sony is going to be coming out with custom PS5 faceplates. And I mean, they've got a bunch of colorways, official colorways for the controllers right now, but as of yet, we don't have anything for the actual consoles. And I know a lot of people want to be able to switch up the colors of their consoles depending on where they have it set up in their living room or their setups or wherever they've got it. And this is one of those things where people really like to be able to customize the look of their equipment. So I have no doubt Sony's going to be coming out with these faceplates. How much they're going to be charging for them, probably a little bit more than the companies they sent the cease and desist to. It's a little upsetting overall, but it is nice to see that we are getting them, because there wasn't really a whole lot of talk about them since these two companies kind of pulled their pre-sales. So it is nice to see, even though it is Sony kind of muscling their way in there with the big money. D-Brand has come out and said that they are going to try to find some sort of workaround legally where they can come out with custom faceplates for the PS5, but as it stands right now, it looks like Sony's going to be the front runner to be able to get one of those. So fingers crossed that happens soon.
So Halo Infinite's Fracture event has come and gone, and it's got fans a little bit frustrated with the whole progression system. They have implemented a progression cap so that you can't grind out the entirety of this event in 1 week. They do plan on bringing it back in like a week or a few weeks from now, but ultimately, why is this a thing? I do not understand. If people don't have time in a week or two when the next Fracture event drops, well then they're screwed out of the rewards that they can't grind out now. I don't understand why 343 has done this. I mean, their whole battle pass never expires. They want you to be able to grind this out at any point. So I do understand that this is a timed event, but given the circumstances, why wouldn't they just let you grind it out in 1 week? This is a swing and a miss again for 343, and I'd say for the most part of Halo Infinite so far, it has been a swing and smash out of the park. I have been loving my time with Halo Infinite, but of course the progression system at first with the ranking of the Battle Pass, that was pretty atrocious, but they addressed it right away. And I think with the feedback that they're getting with the Fracture event, I hope to see that, they'll change their whole progression system altogether.
Square Enix announced that on November the 30th we're getting a brand new playable character to add to the roster in the Marvel's Avengers, and this time we're finally getting Spider-Man. But unfortunately, due to the deal that Sony and Square Enix made, it'll only be playable on the PlayStation, so you won't be able to play Spider-Man on the Avengers game on any other console. And unlike the other DLCs like the Kate Bishop Taking Aim, or the Clint Barton Future Imperfect, and even the amazing job they did on the Black Panther in War of Wakanda, voiced by the amazing Christopher Judge, Spider-Man with great power won't have any story missions. Instead, you'll have to deal with a series of challenges with some audio logs and static comic book style cutscenes, advancing the story. So the question was asked to the Avengers director why they didn't spend as much time on this DLC compared to the others, and he responded with, "We want to spend our efforts on content that everyone can enjoy, so we chose to spend a lot of our energy on the Claw raid that's coming up at the same time. Really, that's a simple decision for us. Spider-Man can play all the content, but then when we release a piece of content that's good on all platforms, really that was a decision that's been that way since the beginning." I feel like Square Enix has not put enough time or effort or even rushed this Spider-Man DLC, especially where there's no story missions like the previous DLC characters. Also, I find it a little bit selfish that it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, which means that if you're playing Marvel's Avengers on the Xbox, then Spider-Man is definitely not a character you'll be able to play. So maybe they should have held off to a later date and had a bit more of a story like the previous DLCs, so everyone can enjoy the experience on whatever console you're playing it on. But Drew and myself will definitely be jumping back into the Marvel's Avengers Spider-Man with great power, so make sure you check out Inside the Game and we'll tell you what we honestly think of this DLC.
Holiday season just about every year, it's difficult to figure out what do you want to get people and how hard is it going to be to get things. Well, Microsoft wants just to help you a little bit if they can. They have a lot of products and they want to offer some, and we're just going to take a quick look at a few here. For the so inclined, there is the Microsoft Surface lineup. These are nice, brand new style tablet laptops, and there is the Studio model, the Pro 8, and the Go 3. And the Go 3 is advertised as being extra portable and seems to be quite the ideal candidate for something like Game Pass, but we'll get to that shortly. Offered as an accessory to the Surface tablets, there is an ocean plastic mouse. Now, this is very interesting, as I think we can all agree, ocean good, and this is a project that takes a lot of the plastic out of the ocean and repurposes it to be something positive, at least. Us at Inside the Game can't ignore this opportunity to recommend the Xbox Series S. If you are indeed looking for a new console, this is the entry point for the brand new generation. And, well, I have one, we all have one on the team, and it's definitely a good hit for a Christmas season. Sticking with the theming of games, well, Xbox Game Pass happens to be the best service around. I can objectively say that. There's hundreds of games that come along with a subscription. It is a monthly subscription, but Game Pass Ultimate has just so many different things for so many different people that it casts a wide net, and it's definitely a good catch. Coming out along on Game Pass day one, the new Halo Infinite has to be a definite recommend for me. Now, that is available by itself on December 8th, but it comes along with Game Pass day one, so that kind of has a lot of value in there alone, but I have to recommend this season, that's definitely a big hit. And if you are into that online scene, Xbox also has an Elite Series 2 controller. Now, these things are a little more expensive than the average controller, but they add a lot of different customization, and if you know somebody who plays a lot of Xbox, well, they will absolutely appreciate something like that. Well, there's an interesting roundup of some ideas from Microsoft. There's something for the gamer out there, that's for sure. But us at ITG hope you've had a great holiday season regardless, and we'll see you next time inside the game.
We've had a lot of excellent titles come from Square Enix this year in 2021, and I've had the privilege to review a couple of them. So if I'm going to recommend my first title from Square Enix, it has to be Outriders. Earlier this year, Outriders dropped back in April, and it brought a very unique twist to the looter shooter genre. Unlike most games of this style, it was a complete package, start to finish. Here's your game, no extra content coming shortly thereafter, and not a, here's part of the pie and the rest of the pie is coming out later on this year. This was a full package, and this is what I really appreciated about Outriders. It did have a bit of a rocky start, but definitely over the months they've been listening to feedback and updating the game, and it is 110% a solid experience.
The world order has changed. We were once prey. Now, we're the predators.
The second title that I have to recommend is Life is Strange True Colors. Drew and I reviewed it earlier this year, and it just blew us away with the depth of the story. This game that focuses on emotion, anger, fear, sadness, joy, all of these elements bring you this fantastic story that will be well worth your 10 hours of time. In fact, even me talking about it right now really just makes me want to go back to Haven and just live in that little town that just makes everything feel super real and authentic.
Good to see you again. Welcome to Haven.
This place is pretty sweet.
I'm glad you two met. Is this dude my best friend?
And this dude hands me the best beers?
Now the third title I have to recommend is Guardians of the Galaxy. Drew reviewed this not too long ago, and he was blown away by the story, the gameplay, everything. This is a true Guardians of the Galaxy experience with the humor, the soundtrack, everything in this game is fantastic. And you're not looking at a small, short game. This is at least a 20-hour game, so it is well worth your money that you're gonna spend on it. Now the next title I'm going to recommend is Circuit Superstars. This game was built by racing fans for racing fans, and you can really tell that there was a lot of passion behind this project. Drew and Corey reviewed it earlier this year, and they had a blast checking out this sort of arcadey racing game. This has been an excellent year for racers, and this is just another one to add to the list. Now, those are some of the major titles that came out this year, but Square Enix has a vast library of games that you should of course check out. Final Fantasy, a lot of the old games have been brought to Game Pass. You can play great titles like Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, Final Fantasy IX, one of my personal favorites, or 10 and 10-2. All these titles available on Xbox, and as well, Marvel's Avengers. Now, it did of course have a bit of a rocky start, but I can confidently tell you that it is well worth checking out. It's available on Game Pass as well, and you can, I'm pretty sure, buy this for a cheap price at any local store. This game, if not for the story alone, is well worth it. Alright, so if you haven't checked out any of these games already, you best be getting on it, because Square Enix has knocked it out of the park with some amazing titles this year, and I look forward to the Christmas holidays to dive deeper into some of these other titles.
Well, the holidays are nearly upon us, and if you're a PC gamer as well as a console gamer, we've got a few things you might want to look into this holiday season coming out of SteelSeries. For that PC gamer, we have a whole series from SteelSeries on the new Prime mice lineup. That's right, you can play like a pro, weighing in at a lightweight of 69 grams. This reduces the hand fatigue when lifted. A hyper durable design can withstand the most intense wear and tear, and a new texture matte finish ensures for a non-slip grip. Also, a True Move Pro sensor provides esports pro performance, and onboard customization makes selecting those easy settings. Don't forget about the Prime Plus. It's also a lightweight factor of only 71 grams. The True Move Pro's Plus sensor also provides esports performance, as well as the sensor to detect liftoff distance. But if you don't want to go wired, you can always switch it up with the wireless. The Prime Wireless series also has a full charge up to 100 hours and a fast charging mechanic behind it, with only weighing in at 80 grams. If you want to move into the audio side of things, you can hit them up with the Arctis Prime. This introduces an all-new noise-isolating leatherette ear cushions that crush the background noise with high-fidelity audio drivers, deliver a maximum detail separation at the highest level of gameplay. The Arctis Prime feature lightweight, durable metal construction, noise-canceling Discord-certified mic, and a detachable 3.5mm cord. But if you are a console gamer and you're looking for that certain stocking stuffer, well, then you can take a look at the SteelSeries Control Freaks. That's right, add those to the thumbsticks of your controllers and step up your game. From all of us over at ITG, happy holidays everybody, and Merry Christmas.
So in Fallout 76, there are a ton of daily challenges that are mostly easy, but there are a couple that sometimes are a little time cumbersome. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to take down 15 feral ghouls most efficiently. So my favorite place to start this challenge is at Eastern Regional Penitentiary. If you spawn here, almost immediately you are attacked by feral ghouls, and if you enter the actual prison, it is just riddled with feral ghouls. It is a little bit tricky kind of making your way through this place, but if you just make a lot of noise, the feral ghouls naturally just go to you. So if you don't get 15 feral ghouls because some are already killed, or there's just not enough for you to kill, I have one more place to send you that's near the top right hand side of the map. If you spawn in at Freddy Fear's House of Scares, there's at least 4 to 5 feral ghouls here that spawn in and a Wendigo, so be wary of that. But if you spawn both at Eastern Regional Penitentiary and Freddy Fear's House of Scares, you will 100% get your daily challenge complete.
Next, we observe the effects of
a lavish land left to languish. Can new life find a way here?
I find myself in search of a new life. I'm jumping in over at early access for Lens Island. This is from Flow Studios. This is a very small team. It was actually a one-person project, which has grown into a couple other teammates joining on and expanding the outcome of this game. Like I said at the very beginning, this is early access. So we're getting into what I feel is a pretty polished game. I'm actually pretty surprised how well everything works. It runs well. There are definitely some features missing, or maybe I just missed them somehow, but we'll get into that in a second. The overall aspect of Lens Island is you are there to build a new life. You are out to explore, but you have the ability to go and kind of set your own path. Become who you want to be. You want to build a beautiful home, a big massive house, a garden, and you can just tend to crafting and all that kind of stuff when you get into somewhat of a survival game. It's a unique spin on a survival game because you're not really looking to get food management. You don't need to worry about water and all that kind of stuff. Your equipment doesn't break down over time, as we've seen in other games for survival aspects. So there's definitely a little bit more of a lighthearted take. It's just kind of going out there and doing your own thing, building your house, but there are other things to do as well, like crawling through the dungeons, and this is where you can definitely die. I found myself dying, or if you happen to let the tree fall on you, you can die there as well. I found myself just sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying the game. Music is fantastic. The art style is stunning. It is beautiful. I love the art style. It's just a simplistic game. I'm not knocking it for being so simple because it's not that overly simple. You can get into the depths of things, but on Lens Island, it's all about exploring the island to see what else you can find. The biggest thing is you lack a map, so getting lost can really become a problem. After a while, you found yourself kind of traversing over the same areas and realizing where your location is, and you stumble across a whole other town or a village, which I thought was kind of charming. I ran into a bunch of people there, just NPCs. I think that's one of the things that Lens Island would benefit the most of, is having a co-op experience. But for there, you kind of just chill out. What I did was I actually put a podcast on and listened to the podcast as well as the background music within the game, and just kind of set out and did my own thing. I built this cool 3-story building. From there, I'm looking to craft materials, get better weapons, better gear, so I can go and survive a better chance within the dungeons themselves. I want to be able to get in that cave, go in deep throughout and search for goods and all the loot I can get, but some of these monsters are definitely a little bit challenging, especially when they come at you in waves. So you get hit with 3 or 4, sometimes even more than that. You're better off just to run away. I did mention that there isn't a map, and that's kind of a bit of a problem when you're exploring this massive, what seems to be essentially a massive island. I just kind of ran on and on and on. Everywhere I went, it was somewhere new to explore, which is kind of that thrill at the same time. But you need to be able to rest as well, and to find your way back home sometimes can be a little cumbersome. What do you do about that? Well, you put down a signpost. Here's my problem. It just says signpost. It doesn't say where. It won't let me label it. I can't put any information on the signpost. It's just there. So maybe that's a feature that's coming in the future, because that would be nice, or somehow I just completely missed it. But I put a signpost down, I pointed in the direction I was looking to go, kind of as a reference for later, and working off of that. So that way, when I left my house, I knew where one of the caves were. And then I put in another post, so that way I know where the village is. And it's kind of laying out my lay of the land at the same time. A map really would have saved a lot of that for me. Lens Island is definitely a chilled out experience, and then you get that thrill ride of jumping into the dungeons. I found myself just enjoying this game. It is a awesome experience. I had a blast playing this game, just chilling out for hours, going about my own business, kind of wandering around the island, crafting new materials, looking to upgrade my sword, all that stuff. Lens Island is definitely a recommend for me. You need to check this one out. Lens Island is a chill, laid-back experience with some intense dungeon moments. Head out and explore the island to uncover the hidden mysteries for better loot and crafting material, or stick around your house as you build the home of your dreams. That'll wrap up today's episode. Thank you for hanging out with us, and hopefully that helped add a couple games to your wish list for the holidays. From everybody here at ITG, we want to wish you all a safe and happy holiday. And of course, you can always be a part of our show. All you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca, hit us up in Discord. There, you can submit a clip and be the highlight of the week. We're looking for Halo clips. You have them, send them our way. This week, we have none other than Floral Duchess, and he's on a streak like no other. Until next week, everybody, have a great day, and of course, we'll see you inside the game.
Frag out. Lost a teammate.
Target spotted.
Double kill. Killing spree. Killing spree. Active camo inbound.